Good morning all, and welcome to Equity One podcast. This morning I've got Damian Medici from Damian Medici Loan Market, and I thought I might invite Damian into the office today. Last week the Australian Mortgage Awards were run and won, and Damian was one of the big winners of the night. Equity One sponsors the Broker of the Year Productivity Award, and congratulations, Damian, on the award.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, and thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So look, before I get too far into it, I do need to mention this disclaimer, or give a disclaimer. So in this podcast, any opinions expressed in this post are general in nature and don't take into account your personal objectives, financial situation or needs as a potential investor or borrower. You should, before making any decision, consider the appropriateness of the advice, having regards to your objectives, financial situation and needs. The product disclosure statement is available on our website below, and you should consider the product disclosure statement before deciding whether to invest. So now that we've got that
over and done
stuff. Yeah, we can push on. Perfect. So, Damian, thanks for coming in, and maybe if you can just give us a bit of background about yourself and your business and how you got into broking in the first place.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having me. It is good to be here. So, yeah, as you mentioned, we had the awards night last Friday at the Star in Sydney. So it was a lot of talent there, and it was good to come home with the win. So that sort of meant a lot for me and my career. But to give you a little bit of a background, I started brokering after having a career in real estate and banking, sort of for about a 5-year period on and off between the two. Mm-hmm. I then started my own business brokering with loan marketing sort of March 2014. So it's been over 5 years now. So that's how I got my journey into real estate, also into mortgage broking from real estate. My first sort of positioning where my business was started was inside a Ray White office, much like some of the loan market brokers that sort of do start off that way.
Right.
It gives them a bit of a good feel to how to start and, meet clients and meet people and get the ball rolling.
Great. Excellent. So it's been a number of years, and as we know, finance is a very competitive game. What we know, we see ourselves and we keep hearing, is that clients are more curious, they're more demanding, and they're more impatient. So customer expectations just continue to rise. And one of the ways, there's many ways to solve for that, and you'll have your views on this, but we are a strong believer in productivity as a way of serving our customers better. So, I mean, what are you seeing out there on the ground with your clients, and how have you responded to that?
It's a really good point that you bring up. I think, and it's funny that you say competition is a big thing. I don't believe that it is. I strongly believe that as a mortgage broker, if you meet a client and you've got all your lenders on your panel and you can instill trust in them, and you can show them that you know your products and you know what their needs are, and you can marry them up with a lender that's right, the competition gets cut out instantly. So the moment that trust is built up, there's no competition. They've got to feel comfortable with you, because obviously it's a big decision, finance-wise. People want to make sure that they're on the right track, and they need to make sure that they're on the right track with the right person. So competition is not something that I really see in my business. It's more like, okay, well, what do I need to do to make sure that the client fully believes in what we do, and that they can trust us with what they need to achieve?
That's excellent. So competition, as you say, disappears or dissolves once you've won the client. So how do you go about winning that client and winning their trust as quickly as possible so that they are your client?
Yeah. There's a number of things you can do, but I purely and honestly believe it comes down to one thing, and that's listening. You need to listen to what it is that they want, where they want to go, why they're doing this, what the reason behind it is, and if you just listen and understand what they want to do, people will feel that from you. They'll say, okay, this guy's listening to us. He knows what we want to do. He knows this is where we want to go, and we actually feel that he understands what we need. So that's something that I've sort of learned from it early on. In any industry I've been in, is just to really listen to what it is that they want to do.
That's excellent. And I mean, ultimately, there's placing a deal, there's drafting it, there's writing it, there's all the implementation. But I think you've really struck on something important, and that is you want to make that invisible to the customer. You want to manage that journey and listen to them properly and early.
Of course.
So that they don't need to get the third and fourth broker involved to see that they're being, or ensure that they're being looked after properly. So have you got any good client scenarios or examples where you've listened and just helped them out?
We come across them on a daily basis, but there's been a number of instances where, and we've got one that's, you know, in the system at the moment. Obviously, the most recent one is one that would bring that up. But the client has approached a lender, and we won't name the lender, but they've approached a lender directly, and they dealt with two different people on two different occasions, and they were told, no, we cannot buy this property. They've then been referred to me from an estate agent, and I've sat down with them. They were actually about to cancel the appointment because they said, look, we don't think we can borrow. We just don't, we're not comfortable that we can even get this property that we want to buy, because they were looking at a property that was the biggest thing. They wanted to get this next property. They were referred to me. They were about to cancel the appointment, and I called them up and said, listen, the appointment's tomorrow. Just come and sit down with me. It's your third and final chat with somebody in this field, and I guarantee you by the end of it, you'll know whether you can or cannot. Now, I sat down with them and spent an hour and a half, because obviously it was a bit more complex, and it just so happens that the lender that they were dealing with beforehand, or who they were dealing with, didn't take the time to fully understand their situation, and they can actually buy the property. So the applications have gone in, and we're on the process of getting an approval, and for them, that's the next home. So it's not even about the approval, it's about the home. You know, they've got this next home which they're going to start their family in.
That's it. No, it's an emotional purchase. It's
correct.
There's significant sums of money involved, and I'm sure your clients only buy a house every 5 to 8, 10 years. So they, I know we deal in finance all the time and we're talking numbers, and that's fantastic. But for a customer, this is their major asset, one of their major assets. So they need the help, don't they? And they need that advice. And I think, again, you've touched on something very important there. If we skim across detail, we often miss something. So you've kept talking, kept engaging with the client, and really heard them and understood, and then that's resulted in better fit, better recommendations.
Well, they're able to get what they want, and as a broker, I think you need to. I think when me particularly, when I meet with a client, I eliminate any distractions. So I don't take my mobile phone in with me, because I don't want to know anything else that's going on. My staff cannot reach me at that time. If anybody needs me, I'm unavailable. I'm giving my full dedication to the people in front of me, because I need to make sure that hour and a half, I fully understand what it is that they want to do. We've built the trust, and we've listened, and we've spoken to them, and we've had a good conversation about what they want, how we're going to get there. So to me, that's important.
Excellent. So minimising distractions and just giving them the time they deserve, and that's a differentiator. So in the market, there's thousands of brokers, and across Australia, and there would have been hundreds going, putting up a nomination for this award. Now, you've come out at the top of the group because you must just stand out in a number of areas, which you've demonstrated really well today. But if we just hone in on productivity a little bit, what's your view on productivity? How have you focused in on it for yourself, for your team, your business, and then how does that reflect on your customer engagement?
That's a really good question, and anybody that's listening, I want you to really take out some core things that I believe in, and it's obviously helped our business get to where it is. But for me, productivity is about producing a result in a timely manner that satisfies the client. So to me, client comes to us, we're going to be on. So that means we need to produce a result, we need to keep them updated as much as possible, and they need to feel like, wow. And I use this a lot. It's called the barbecue analogy.
Right.
So, and I say to my staff all the time, if my client is at a barbecue and they're there with their friends and family, they can say one of two things. They can say, oh yeah, we used the broker once. Or they can say, you need to see our broker. He's Damian. He's amazing. Here's his number. Do not even bother to call anybody else. You need to speak to him.
Perfect.
So we do everything back. We re-engineer that to say, okay, well, what do we do to get that client speaking like that at their family barbecue? And that's service, knowledge, trust. We live by 3 values, which is trust, transparency, and service.
Right.
And I spoke about that after we won the award. That if you just focus your attention on those 3 core values, your productivity will be there.
Excellent. Perfect. So you've really begun with the end in mind and how you want that customer
Correct.
to consider you during and after the process.
Correct.
So they become an advocate for you.
Correct.
Are there any other productivity tips that you've brought into the business to help you along the way?
I think, and I'm speaking openly, but I do assume that some brokers have trouble in letting go of an application, but you've got to instill trust in your team. When you meet with a client and you do your bit, when it goes on to your next team member or your process, you need to ensure that you're trusting them as well.
Yeah.
That helps you produce better results. I firmly believe that. So I think you need to trust your team, trust that your systems work, and don't be afraid to let go, because your team represent you and you represent the client. So at the end of the day, the result will still be the same. You just got to trust your team.
That's really good, Damian. I think that's a maturing process as well, and that's taking your business to the next level, because as a competent salesperson and manager of deals, you know exactly what's meant to happen when, and I'm sure you can manage a good, solid portfolio yourself. But when you trust your team, as you mentioned, and you outline roles, responsibilities, how things should work,
Correct.
Start through to end, where the handoffs are and what the expectations are, you free yourself up to spend more quality time with clients instead of worrying about the back end.
Correct.
Really good advice.
Because it will fall away. Because if we're having a meeting and I'm thinking about, I've got to let go of that other file because I haven't done the serviceability yet, and your mind's racing, I'm not giving you my full attention. So then that falls away the productivity level.
Totally.
And that's not good for the customer experience.
Not at all. So you must have your team on board with this. Have you had any instances where you've had to get back involved, something's changed along the way and you have to resolve or recover the situation?
Happens on a weekly basis. It happens on a weekly basis. You know, there's always scenarios that pop up where, and that's where you're becoming a better business over time, because you're learning and you're growing and your team's growing and you're growing, and everybody's got teething problems, let's face it.
Yep.
But our biggest thing is, if there's an issue and my team needs me to get back in, I say, well, what are our core values? And they say, well, trust, transparency, and service. Okay, so if there's an issue with the deal and we need to let a client know, we've got to be transparent about it. We won't call a client and let them know of a bad outcome unless we've got a solution.
Sure.
So if there's been a hiccup with one lender, I've got to say, we'll find the solution first, because I want you to deliver the unfortunate news, but this is the plan moving forward. Perfect. That's that transparency.
Yeah.
That creates the trust. Provide the service, and everything will be fine. So it's like a merry-go-round.
Sure. That's good, and you're not upsetting and concerning the customer.
No.
You've gone in, planned, organised, proactive. You got your messages right, and you've got the solution right. So
correct.
Really
good. You could give a client an unfortunate outcome. You could call them and say, look, unfortunately, this bank's not going to do it. I'm going to come back to you and let you know what I can do. At that point, they're going to go look elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you say to them, look, this is a scenario, this has popped up, but I've moved forward and we've got this plan, I'd like us to move forward with this because of this, this and this. Now we know it's going to get approved.
Perfect. That's really good. And I think, going back to your earlier comment, you're developing capability in your team. Yes,
Correct.
there'll be issues, but you obviously sit back, you resolve the issue,
Yes.
one, but then you would have an opportunity to go back and see how could we have done that better.
Absolutely.
And again,
You need
that's building the real ongoing capacity so you can keep
You need to.
working
And like
with
you
your
mentioned,
customers.
that's the maturity of the business.
Yeah.
Like if you're not having those conversations, then you're not growing.
That's excellent. So you must have plenty of good inquiry level in the business.
Yes.
How do you think that winning the award can help you or will help you going forward?
It's actually really nice to get recognition for what we firmly believe in. So to win the productivity actually means a lot because
Absolutely.
I've put a lot of emphasis from day one, the old barbecue analogy, to work on that. And it was never perfect at the start. It's taken time, and here we are 5 years on, and to win the award, which to me means a lot, that my clients now know, okay, our broker's just won Broker of the Year for productivity. Now, to them, it gives them more merit to even recommend me again. So it sort of amplifies everything that we believe in
Yep.
as a mortgage broking firm, and I think it's just going to help with the growth of the inquiries and the trust.
Absolutely. It'll certainly help with amplification. It's like a snowball effect, call it
Yeah.
what you will. But it's a really strong endorsement for you, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think the other point here is you've been at it and focused for a good period of time here. This hasn't happened overnight.
It hasn't.
Nothing significant and valuable, as we all know, can happen overnight.
It doesn't.
It takes consistency, hard work. There's obviously a lot of hard work going on in the background here to create that really positive
Definitely.
effect at the front end. So well done. Just as a sort of final comments, have you got any sort of initiatives, any big plans for 2020 that you're looking to trial in the business along the productivity lines, or any lines, in fact?
So it's just continually growing. We focus predominantly just on residential home loans. We do a little bit of personal loans, but our prime focus is resi home loans. So I'm still growing my process because my theory to the business is, and I always work towards this goal, is will my business run whether I'm there or not? So everything I do is always building towards that. So it's about getting the right staff, recruiting the right people, creating a flow of leads to come in and potential clients, and then how do those potential clients get managed? So everything I do is working towards building a business that will run regardless if I'm away or not. So I always strive for that biggest achievement. And then once I get there, then it's about maintaining the business and then tweaking certain things. So when you say 2020, well, it's been a long-term goal to achieve that. So 2020 will still grow and work towards that plan.
Excellent. I can see you're well on the right track, so keep
Thank
at
you.
it. Now, the market's been up and down, and I'm not going to ask you to necessarily give an opinion of the property market, but you've probably got a view on the activity levels going on in home loans. What are the sort of trends you're seeing at the moment?
It's interesting you say that. Like, the trends are obviously, I think there's a bit of confidence back in the market with buyers. And now you'll notice that the clearance rates are up. Don't be sort of too fooled by that, because there's less homes on the market, so we've got a shortage in supply. So the demand's there. That's why they're selling. You're noticing the rates obviously being up there. But I do feel like the confidence is back with consumers. Lending's become a little bit easy in terms of serviceability rates dropping and so forth. For us, for brokers and all our brokers out there, I still believe that our market share is going to grow and grow, because now more than ever, there's so many different policies from lender to lender.
Absolutely.
And people need to know somebody that knows what they're doing and specialises in home loans. So it's exciting times for a broker. Obviously, there's in the background, there's the aftermath of the Royal Commission. I won't go into that. I'll let our chairman Sam White deal with that, which he's been doing a great job. But I just think just focus on your business, focus on your customers, and your business will grow naturally, because people need money to buy, move on with their lives, lifestyle choices, lifestyle scenarios. They still need finance and brokers.
Absolutely. And you're right. Then clients need brokers almost more than ever because
Correct.
Lenders are becoming more fragmented in their focus and their policies
Yes.
are always moving. So I'd always recommend that a client go to a professional who knows what they're doing, like yourself, Damian, to get the assistance and then ultimately move forward with their life goals.
Yeah.
Buy the next house, upgrade, refinance, downgrade.
Definitely.
It's part of the life journey, and it's really important that you get that professional advice when you have one of those major transactions, buying a house,
Yep.
which you don't do that regularly.
Very much so. It's needed. It is needed.
Really good. Did you have any final comments that you really wanted to make while we're here?
Obviously, you know, I'm grateful for every sort of business partner and anybody that's helped me along, you know, between friends, family and all that. You need the right support network when you're running a business, whether it be your girlfriend, your partner, whoever it is, your business partners. I mean, don't ever underestimate the value of good relationships. If there's one piece of advice for anybody that wants to grow their business, is act as if today was my first day in business, and then what would I do so I can continually act that way every day. So if I'm starting to get more clients and I'm starting to get an influx, well then you need to put on a support person.
Yeah.
So you can focus on acting as if today is your first day in business. So that's probably a little bit of a sort of business tip, I guess, but just
really
appreciate everybody that helps you along the way because it's imperative.
That's really good, Damian. And clearly you've got your expertise, you're able to communicate it, you get on really well with your clients and your business partners, your staff. So I can see you've got good support network around you, but that you've worked on that. That doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
So really good tip out there for really anyone in business. And I can see that you've got this energy that you bring to every day.
Yeah.
And that's really important because the environment keeps changing, and if we're not aware and really sensitive to changes, we can be caught, napping asleep at the wheel.
Correct.
And that's when others can come in and offer superior service. They might have some new productivity tips. I mean, productivity is all around us, and we can take bits and pieces and integrate it in. But you would naturally integrate it into the model that works for you, and that takes judgment and things. Look, I really wanted to just congratulate you again.
Thank you. Thanks very much,
Equity
Matt.
One's really pleased that we've supported the Productivity Award for a couple of years now, and we'd like to continue to support those leaders in the industry who are breaking new ground, trying to continually serve customers better in the market. So congratulations again, Damian.
Thank you.
You've got a supporter in us and an advocate.
Thank you.
And I really hope you've enjoyed the conversation today.
Thanks, guys. And if anybody does want to reach out for any advice, more than happy. I'm sure the details will be on the podcast here, so you're more than welcome to reach out for advice. I'm always happy to help. I think that's something that we need to do, is give back to others as well. So I think that's pretty important.
That's excellent, Damian. I was just about to make that comment. We will provide Damian's details at the conclusion of the podcast, so hang there. Also, if you have any lending inquiries for Equity One, please don't hesitate to contact us on the details following. And likewise, if you have an interest in fixed interest mortgage investments, also please don't hesitate to contact us. That'll be us today. Again, thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you another episode soon. Thank you.
Thanks.